We support a number of different cloud apps within the Druva InSync platform, including Office 365, Box, G Suite and Salesforce. In this demonstration, we will focus on Office 365, but the setup process and interface is similar between the different cloud platforms. A quick note on licensing. In order to protect cloud apps, you purchase the cloud apps license for each user. You can then protect all of the supported cloud apps within InSync. For Office 365, you'd need to license both user mailboxes and shared mailboxes for protection. The first part of the process is to connect our InSync instance with our Office 365 tenancy. This is a very light touch configuration and simply requires you to enter your global admin privileged account details into Office 365 via InSync. First, we'll go to Data Sources, Cloud Apps and select Office 365. From here we click Configure, at which point we are prompted that we will be redirected to the Office 365 login screen. We enter our global admin privileged account credentials, at which point Druva will register an app in Azure, generate keys and connect back to InSync. The account we've just specified is used only to connect into InSync, and we don't rely on using these credentials for ongoing connectivity. At this point, we are ready to add the Cloud App data source to our profile. If you remember, the profile is where we configure our backup policies, including the data sources in scope for protection. Here, I simply click on each of the Office 365 data sources to enable them for backup. In the case of OneDrive, I have the option of excluding MIME types and file extensions. For Exchange, we protect mail for all users, including contacts and calendars. We also have the option of protecting recoverable items that have been hard deleted from the mailbox. In the Schedule and Retention section, I define the frequency of backup per day or per week and the retention required for my backups. We run an incremental forever type of backup strategy and extend weekly and monthly backups for the duration specified. The email retention option here essentially allows you to skip messages that have a sent or received date older than the value specified here. It's useful if you have a retention policy that includes the age of the email. For example, the company must not keep any data older than 5 years. I can now click Next and Finish to complete the profile configuration. Once I have configured Office 365 and enabled Cloud Apps backup in the profile, all mailboxes and OneDrive accounts will now be assigned to our discovered users. If we jump into our Cloud Apps data source, you can see our Exchange Online accounts and OneDrive accounts have now been assigned to users. You'll actually notice that there is a third tab, SharePoint. SharePoint backups are configured here, including the discovery of sites and site collections, as well as profile settings such as scheduling and retention. Clicking on SharePoint settings, I have the option to automatically discover my site collections and add them to the list and automatically assign storage. That is, the cloud storage region that was chosen during the onboarding phase. This provides full discovery and backup automation, minimizing the effort required of the backup administrator. Backup frequency and retention is similar to what we discussed for Exchange Online and OneDrive backups. Of course, we can also exclude file types and extensions here. If you remember, restores are conducted from the Users section. If I choose one of our users, I'll click on Restore Backup Data. I'm now presented with a window that allows me to choose my data source for this user, the backup recovery point, and finally provide a view of the dataset at that point in time. Starting with Exchange Online, if I click on Mails, I can browse the user's mailbox and restore the entire mailbox, folder or mail item. I have the option to restore to the original user's mailbox, either in place or out of place, or to a different user's mailbox. I can also download a zip file of the selected messages. Moving on to contacts, I have similar options for restore, and finally the ability to restore entire calendars back to the mailbox. With OneDrive, I can again select the folders or individual items for restore and have similar restore options. The only difference is that we can also retain share permissions on an object. If I didn't know the exact path to the file or mail item I wanted to restore, I can also perform a search of the file name or subject line. I can also filter based on file type and the modified or sent or received date of the object. From here I can see a filtered list of found objects that I can restore as normal. To restore SharePoint, I need to go back to Data Sources, Cloud Apps, Office 365 and SharePoint. If I click on a site collection, I now have information regarding the backup status, site backup settings and the ability to restore. I get the same view as before and can restore the entire site collection, folders or items. I also have the same search capability. If I restore out of place, InSync will create a new site at the root of the site collection and restore the object there.